to be looking at the ILR application process step by step, the questions that they ask you, so that it prepares you on the answers that you would want to give or what you should look out for. So the first thing is to create a UKVI account. You need to create a UKVI account with your email and a password. So after you've created the account, they're going to send you a link in the email, and you click on the link and to reset you back to the portal. If you're applying as a group, let's say for example, you and your spouse and your children, you all came to the UK at the same time, so you've all qualified at the same time, then it makes sense for you to all apply as a group. So that it's like a group application. It is easily traceable. So it's going to ask you how many people are going to be applying for that particular ILR. If it's just you, you put just you. If it is you and your family, you fill in everybody's name as it appears. So the first question, after you've done this, they're going to ask you, are you the main applicant or you are doing it for somebody? Then you choose your answer. It's going to ask you what category of visa are you using to apply for this indefinite leave to remain. Then you select. Then it's going to ask you, are you currently in the UK? You answer. I'm going to show it on the screen of how it looks like because I downloaded my application form. So are you currently in the UK? Do you have any current application with the Home Office as in leave to remain or any visa that you are waiting to receive a decision? You answer. Do you have an immigration advisor? Yes or no? Then you start filling your personal details. So your title, your given name, which is your first name, and your family name. It will ask you if you've got any other name. It will ask you for your contact details, which is your email address and your contact number. It will ask you for your address, and it will verify the address that you've submitted. It will ask you when you started living in that address. It will ask you for your gender as it appears on your travel document. It will ask you for your relationship status. It will ask you for your country of nationality, your place of birth, and your date of birth. It will ask you for your passport number, the authorizing country, the date of issuing, and the date of expiry. If you've got a BRP, it's going to ask you if you've got a BRP or not. If you've got a BRP, it will ask you for the BRP number. If you've not got a BRP, that is fine. It will ask you if you've got an identity card. You answer that as well. It will ask you whether you've currently held citizenship in any other country. Then you answer that as well, apart from your country of birth, obviously. Then it's going to ask you the ownership, status of the house that you are living in. The property that you've submitted as accommodation is going to ask you, do you rent or do you own? And then your telephone number, and to ask you whether that telephone number you've provided is for use when you are in the UK or outside the UK. And to ask you, since you entered the UK, have you had any absences from the UK? Then you answer. So it's like any answer that you give triggers the other one. If you say no, it moves you straight. If you say yes, it's going to ask you for your travel history. Okay, it's going to ask you whether you've been refused a visa before, whether you've been banned from any country before, whether you've been removed from a country before, whether you've been denied entry, deported, required to leave a country, or anything. It's going to ask you. They put your answer there. It's going to ask you also whether you've been part of a genocide or crime against humanity, involvement in war, supported any terrorist activity, you've been a member of terrorism or violent groups or crime act, whether you're a person of good character. Then it's going to ask you for immigration history. So the date you entered the UK is stated there. And then it's going to ask you your travel history. So your travel history is all the countries you've been to since you came to the UK. You have to name them. So you write the country's name, the date you left, the date you returned, your reason for visit, and what exactly you went to do, basically. So you feel that even if it's 10 countries you visited, you write each and every one of them, and you must submit evidences for each and every one of them. It's also going to ask you whether you've got any criminal record, criminal conviction, penalty for driving offenses such as disqualification for speeding or motor insurance, an arrest or charge for which you're currently awaiting a trial in court, whether you've had a caution, warning, reprimand, whether you've had a court judgment against you, for example, for non-payment of debt, bankruptcy, antisocial behavior, a civil penalty issued under UK immigration law. You state it. Here you have to be very honest. If you have any record, state it. I know somebody who had a record but didn't state it and was refused because they had to find out on their own. which shows that you are not a truthful person, you're not honest. So state it and explain. They're going to give you a box where you can explain with details what exactly it is. Is it a criminal record? Is it a driving offense? Is it an antisocial behavior? Whatever. Be truthful about it, okay? And then we moved on to sponsorship. So it will ask you for your sponsor license number. You put your sponsor, all this information about sponsorship can be found on your COS. So you put your sponsor license number there. It will going to ask you if you've got an home office reference number. So if you've made a home office application before as a skilled worker, definitely you have a reference number. So just copy the reference number and paste it there, okay? Then it's going to ask you your national insurance number. It's going to also ask you for your immigration status, which is the date that your visa is going to expire, that last visa that you are on. The date is going to expire. The next question is life in the UK test. It's going to ask you for your life in the UK test reference number. It's going to ask you for your salary, your shortage occupation code, and the hours that you work per week. So here you should write it as it is in the letter that your employer has given you, okay? It's also going to ask you whether your maternity leave, paternity leave, or adoption leave, yeah, and whether you have taken any public fund. Is going to ask you. Now, the letter that your employer is going to give you, I think I forgot to mention in the other video, dated within 1 month of the time that you are submitting your application. So let's say, for example, you want to submit your application on the 20th of September next month. You should take your letter now, right? It shouldn't be earlier than 20th August because otherwise it won't be valid. So the timing is really important. You need to tell your employer that, listen, I'm nearing my ILR, I'll need a letter. And the reason I'm saying this is because some of the employers, especially the new companies, they don't know how to go about writing these letters. So it's best you give them a heads up ahead of time. I think somebody also asked the question whether an employer can refuse to give you the letter. I know somebody whose employer refused to give them the letter. So it's quite tricky. It's quite tricky because in the letter, they have to state that they still need you for the job and all of those things. And if they don't give it to you, how can you make the application? And it is part of the requirement. So with that one, I would say that if you're in such a situation, it's best you ask an immigration advisor or a solicitor. You speak to somebody who is into law, who can help you more. So I think I'll bring an end to the ILR series so that we can all enjoy life. Ciao, ciao.